Welcome. Welcome, everyone. So happy you're here. If you're just arriving, we'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and put in the chat where you're connecting from. And I'm connecting from Boulder, Colorado. Yes, yes. And we have the privilege of connecting with James von Praagh today with Psychic Portals, world-renowned medium, New York Times bestselling author. And I just want to say the last session that we did was incredible. I mean, we got to hear a little bit about James's history, how he got into mediumship, and then he did energetic readings. And I love how you integrated astrology into it. So that's going to be amazing. We're here for all of you. He can answer your questions. You can talk about how you're doing in the course. And also, we wanted to say we're going to be adding an assessment course to the streaming service, which is going to be incredible. It's a guided meditation to help you along your process. So that's going to be something amazing, right, James?
Yes, ma'am. That's very good.
How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you, Krista. Thank you very much. I'm in San Diego. So, and I see a lot of people from
Awesome.
everywhere. There's one person, I always get a little nervous when I see people in cars. I'm like, "Whoa."
Hopefully you're not driving,
Hopefully they're not driving.
because
It's a little
yes,
distracting.
yes, don't want to be driving. Definitely pull over. Yes, because there are some strong energies. And I just want to congratulate everybody who's here today because, who you hang around with and the energy and the frequency matters. And here we all are with James von Praagh. So we're getting the frequency and the vibes and helping our spiritual ascension process. So we have people from Missouri, Quebec, New York, the Netherlands,
And also
Marina
people,
Del Rey.
yeah, and I have people that were with me on Fox. Hi, Julie from Fox 5 San Diego back on July 27th. Very
Oh,
interesting. Good to see you again.
exciting.
You
It's
never know what people are going to
great.
find, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the difference that you made maybe in her life, and now she's here. That's amazing.
That's why I do the work I
Hmm.
do is to help people open up. So probably the
Hmm.
best
Hmm.
part, Chris, would be if anyone has questions about the course so far, you'd like to ask me, feel free to. And you want to do it that, however you want to do that. Want to highlight them or do the
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. We have a whole technical team that can help with highlighting. And what we'll do is, I see some people have already started raising their hands. That's wonderful. You already know the process. This is a live mentoring session. So you just raise your hand. And if you don't know how to do it, go ahead and ask in the chat, and one of our technical team can help. And we will bring you up on stage here. You can also, if you don't want to come up on screen, we'd love to have you on screen and have your energy, then you can also put a message in the chat. So we'll go ahead and get started. You ready, James?
I'm ready. Yes. Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Okay. Someone said they couldn't hear
You
me. So,
sound great.
okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you sound great and very clear. So, Nancy, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute and come up on stage. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, Nancy. If you can unmute yourself. Yeah, there we
There it
go.
goes. Hi, how
Hi,
are you?
Nancy. Good. How are you?
Great. I'm so honored to speak with you.
Thank you.
So I love your course so far, and
Thank you.
I do clairvoyance and clairaudient quite frequently, and I used to see like movies. When I'd be very tired, things would just whip by in my vision, and that's how I sort of understood that I might have been clairvoyant. And then from then, I just see pictures all the time. But my question is, on your last class, you're mentioning about seeing energy, that you've seen energy since you were younger. Is that something that someone can develop later in their life?
Very much so. First of all, a question for you, Nancy. When you say you're clairvoyant, and do you do psychic readings for people or do you do mediumship readings?
I don't really do anything.
You don't do any readings. Okay.
I do more like horse related stuff. So I do some medical intuition and I do like a more for animals,
Oh,
but
great.
I can do
Okay.
people, but I just don't always practice
Okay.
that.
I have an animal course coming up in November about animal communication, by the way. So that's very interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take that.
So everybody has an ability. We're born with the sixth sense. And some people have it more to the surface than others. So some people have more clairvoyance or clairsentience or clairaudience when they're born, and it's very developed. Or it can be developed and it's innately within the soul for everybody. But some people have more clairvoyance. More clairvoyance is developed, or more or clairsentience is developed, or clairaudience. So it depends on that particular soul. But they can all be developed, but there'll probably be one or two that is outstanding.
But if you're saying that you could see like the auras around someone, is
Yeah.
that something that
That's
if I just kept working at it, I could actually develop that?
you could develop your yes, you could develop your clairvoyance. You certainly could.
Yeah, because I see the pictures in my head, but I want to look at someone and see their aura.
Yeah, so you can easily do that. Because you can see someone in your head clairvoyantly, you can easily do that as far as objectively. It's called objective clairvoyance outside yourself. Not as easy as subjective, which is inside, right? But you easily can read auras because it's just perceiving energy, if you will. And you feel energy, right? You're able to feel energy. No reason why you're able not to see it if just allow yourself. So what I would do with you in a workshop, Nancy, I'd blindfold you and I'd have you have a person stand in front of you and sense the energy first, sense the thickness of the energy, the type of energy it feels like, and then try to connect a color with the feeling of that energy that you have.
Ah,
And you can
that's
do it on
good.
your own too. I think it's in part of the course where there's different colored objects and you have a blindfold and you feel over each one to connect with a type of color vibration because every color has a frequency. So it's just attuning yourself to the frequency of each color.
Great, that's wonderful. And sorry, if I could ask you one last question.
No problem.
When we have all these gifts, how do we know what is the best course of avenue to take to do this professionally or to give more readings? Like, how do you know what is the best thing?
Well, for me, honestly, for me, number one, your strength is what? Clairvoyance, right? So you're a seer, you see things. But from my experience, the best way to develop these things is sitting in the quiet, is sitting in the stillness of your being. On my website, there's a spiritual journey of meditation, and it's about a 6-week course of just sitting in the quiet of your being. Because when you sit in that quiet space, you really come from you work from the soul and the inside out, from your soul's point of view, not the physical. And the biggest problem all you guys might have now is you're thinking too much. You're in your head, you're in the human. You got to go inside to the heart. Go to the heart of the matter, feeling and sensing it. Even though you're clairvoyant, you're going to feel it and sense it. Because then as you develop that sensing, your visions become clearer and you have more of a confidence about it. You're not guessing, is this real? Is this not? Is it my own thoughts? Is it not outside of me? So that really helped by sitting in the silence. People call it meditation, quieting the mind. That to me is the best way and the fastest way. Now, saying that, I have a lot of students who are, and of course, generations are changing, that they want things overnight. I want to get this overnight. I want it fast. It is a process. It's just like a flower. You got to nurture that flower and let it grow naturally. Same thing with our abilities. We got to be able to let them grow naturally as they will. We can't push it.
Great. Thank you so
Okay.
much. I really
All
appreciate
right,
that.
Nancy. Nice to meet
Thank
you,
you.
sweetheart. Okay.
Thank you, Nancy. I so
Good
appreciate
question.
you coming here. It was such a good question, and I needed that too about like not rushing the your abilities. And so I love that. So Amal, we're going to have you come up on stage here. Welcome. And what's
Hi.
your question or comment?
Yes, I had asked a quick question in the last session. James, nice to see you again.
Nice to
Um,
see you too, Mal.
so your advice helped. I was able to connect more.
Good.
I went through the whole module 1 with clairvoyance, and I tried all the exercises and
Good.
the scrying with water though, that's the only one I was having kind of trouble like starting to see images. I was starting to see images with the candle gazing, which was really cool.
That's the very first one, Mal, I did. When I was,
Yeah.
and believe it or not, I was at camp when I did that when I was 18, no, 17, 16 years old. And that opened me right up. And that you can do more of, by the way. And just don't do it once, do it many times. And it'll get deeper and deeper and deeper. The scrying, not everything is going to be the same. So the scrying might not be your tool. So out of all those different techniques, you'll find a tool that works for you. So it might be candle gazing. It might be holding an object, like a pen of someone's, and feeling psychometry, feeling the energy of the person. Now, your intention behind that exercise, if you do psychometry, you can ask a person for an object that they wear every day. Now, this is very interesting because your intention is so important. You need to ask as you go into it, am I going to pick up the energy of the person or of the object? Because you can also pick up the energy of the object. Okay, it's been a pen, it was in a factory, and so you can do that too. But your intention is very important of how you're going to read that object. So, what is your strongest one, do you think?
Between the two exercises or just
On the tools, all the tools that
I think it's primarily the candle gazing, and
yeah,
also when I hold an object, like I
psychometry.
kind of feel that like history energy to it.
Okay, so that's psychometry. What I think would be great for you, sweetheart, is candle gazing is fine, right? So we want to do that, and what that is, it's really doing many things. Number one, it's kind of if you keep your eyes open for a long enough time, you're gonna eventually gonna close your eyes, right? Because it'll just naturally get tired. Same thing with the candle gazing, in that it is just a way in. Remember last week I said it's just a
Yeah.
way in. So you could do the exact same thing if, let's say, you're working with a client, and you could just start doing clairvoyance by changing your frequency, changing your mind, getting to that altered state by staring at a place in the room, like a corner in the room, letting your gaze go slightly to the corner of the room, and that way you become very obsessed with that the information comes right in. So there are
Okay,
different
it's
ways
kind of
of
like
doing
you're
it.
shifting like your focus a
Exactly.
little
You're
bit.
shifting your focus. Exactly. That's what the exercise is called, shifting your focus.
Okay.
Good girl. You go to the top of the class. But it's
uh,
also very important, sweetheart, that you let
mhm,
yourself, again, don't rush that process, because
yeah.
it's a brand new way of tuning in. And try different ways. And what I think is great about you is you're open to trying all different ways in. I also think you should do tea leaf or coffee grounds or tea leaf readings. That
Yeah.
also that goes along with the scrying. It's the same idea behind it. So again, it's another way of focusing the gaze, and really you're not really seeing a heart there, but on your mind, clairvoyantly, you're seeing it placed a heart. So it's just a way into your knowing this.
Cool. Just one more quick question.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you could do like a quick energy read on me, because
Oh, an
I know
energy
I'm
read.
an
Okay. Okay.
empath and I feel like I keep getting everyone's energy and I just feel it's really draining.
Right. So why do you want to keep everyone's energy?
That's the thing, like I just feel like people kind of drain me.
Okay.
But I'm trying to kind of separate that, like not let it like affect my own energy, but I just don't know what my energy is like right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you something. It's everybody in the room also. This is for you as well. So what I do, I don't know if I talked about this last week, but I'll repeat it because it's worth it. In the morning when I get up, I will take a shower, and I will cleanse the physical body. And
Mm-hmm.
then when I'm finished with the physical body, I cleanse the spirit body, the energetic body. And what I do with that is I use my thoughts, because thoughts are things. And what happens is I imagine a beautiful golden divine light, whatever you want to call that, loving light, coming through the top of the crown chakra, but also all around me and all the fields around me, this golden light. And as it comes through me, it goes to around the cells, the fibers, the muscles, and the fields. That gold light goes all through the fields. And any energies that are there, which are not mine, which is debris, psychic debris from other people, thoughts from other people, worry from other people, all that energy's got to be dissipated. So you're going to just imagine that golden light takes it, absorbs it, and then throws it out of the body. And I imagine them out of my fingertips and my toes, that it's like Hershey's syrup, and it drips away. And you do that till you feel you're cleansed, and you will feel you're cleansed like 5 minutes. You'll be like, wow, I feel neutral again. I feel centered. And that's
Mm-hmm.
great to get into that habit every day. Okay. And then what you want to do is you program your day. And by programming your day, you say, may God go before, I say, may God go before me and show me the way. The word God and the word love are the two fastest vibrational words we have. They're in the same vibrational frequency. So may love guide me, or God may guide me throughout the day. And you're putting, like, I don't want to use the word protection, but I want to say you're letting your space be surrounded in love. Love being the fastest vibration that there is, will not attract, will disattract, or really, if anyone negative or any negative thoughts, and also come to that, and out of that same loving vibration, they'll be thrown away. It'll bounce right off. Happens all the time. Another great one is that I think I've mentioned in the course. It's the crystal ball. It's a mirror, like a disco ball of light, like a disco mirror ball, and you put yourself in the middle of it. And any energies that come toward you bounce off. They can't be there. They bounce off because it's a mirror, it's a reflection. That works really well. I used to do that when I did the show Ghost Whisperer at Universal Studios. True story. I used to park on the side of the 101 freeway before I go to that studio, and I'd do those exercises, especially the crystal ball one. I mean, the disco ball, and it really, really worked well because you imagine going a lot like that, the universal lot, has a lot of like desperate energy, money energy, producing energy, all that stuff is there, and you have to be careful. So, as a sensitive, as an empath, our responsibility is to take care of that vessel energetically, and that's part of it. Getting into some kind of a habit where you are protect. Again, I'm using the word protection, but I don't like to use that word because of negative connotations. That you are in control, responsible for your space of in and out. Okay. When is your birthday?
Yeah, it's December 16th.
Okay. So you're a Sagittarius, my favorite sign. Great. The biggest issue I have with you, my love, is you worry too much about others. But maybe it was embedded in your family, but there's a whole family dynamic here that I don't know if you're concerned so much about the family, what they think of you or whatever it is, but it's a whole family generational thing that you have to release that. Okay. So,
Yeah.
you understand that. Because I feel like other people's energy is in your space and you got to let that go. You are who you are. That's all who you are. You can't live up to anyone else's expectations, including your parents, including your family. It's hard because it's generational. They might come from a different place and it might be very different generationally, but that's how you make a difference. A friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, is from India originally, and her family is of that background, and they have a hard time mixing the culture here with the culture there, and she's kind of stuck in the middle. But she wrote a letter to her dad, it was a great letter, said, "Listen, I'm my own person. I know who I am, and you have to just be open to this new way of living for me. I want the best for me because it's not the same culture." And it was really true. And the same with you, I think, very similar, right? So I think you gotta be very careful with that. And you become a leader. You help your family look at things in a different way. So that's your job, darling. You're a Sagittarius. You're a counselor. You have the only thing I'd say be careful of is your own self, your own thoughts, because you could
Yeah.
you see things negatively. You worry about things. That's not a Sagittarius.
No,
Sagittarius is
I
fun, go,
feel,
adventure,
yeah,
future, wisdom.
I feel I haven't been myself for the last 2 years. I think it's like pandemic has really taken a huge shift in like my personality, and everything just like this year was like really hard for me. And like I'm
If
trying to kind of be optimistic. Like
if I
ever,
can help you a
yeah,
little bit, sweetheart, and everybody that's listening or watching this, it's hard for everyone
yeah.
right now. The universally astrologically, there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot going on. I do a show Monday nights with Kelly White called Both Sides Now and Beyond, and she does an astrology. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. She does an astrology reading, Vedic astrology, every week. And from this past Monday, she's like, "Wow, the October is really hard because you have a lot of retrograde. You have a lot of things hitting each other. You have it's called Kadanka. It's a really bad for the water. It's a hard time for the humans. It's forcing us to do what we have to do. Whether the universe will pull us and take us and force us to what we have to do. So in many ways, the way I get through it is, it is what it is, and that's all that it is. And
Yeah.
like the Buddhist saying goes, you can't push the river. You got to let it flow. So you can
Mm-hmm.
step back and see the craziness go on because it is pretty crazy out there, as we all know. And just say, wow, it's a different time. Things are shifting. I'm not going to get caught up in the phonetic energy. I'm going to step back and watch it happen. I'll be the observer. That way, it's healthier for you. We have to go through these earth changes. We got to go through all of this. It's not a great place right now, the earth. It's a hard place. It's a hard school, but it's a school that we've come back to learn, to teach, and we need you to teach. We need you to open up people. So step back. Don't be part of it. Don't be in the phonetic crazy part of it, but step back and watch it go by. That's the best advice I can give you. But you're wonderful. I think you're great. The biggest problem I see is you worry about other people's like family stuff here, and I don't
My
like that.
dad, my dad's always worrying about me, and I'm always worrying about my dad. So it's like,
Yeah, maybe you can have a nice talk with your dad and discuss that with
yeah.
him. That might help you. Also, are you moving some of the place?
Uh,
Where do you live now?
I live just outside of Toronto.
Okay.
I used to live in Toronto, and I would love to like move back.
I don't see you living where you're living for a long time. I feel there's going to be another move for you. And I
Okay.
really like that, by the way. I do like that a lot. It feels like what can I say? It's a higher move. It's a step up. And I'm not necessarily talking about like a house, a grand house, but it's a step up energetically. It's a step up maybe independently, but it's a nice feeling. So,
Okay,
and
that's
never
good.
doubt yourself. You're a Sagittarius. You got to live for life because that's a Sag.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you so
All
much,
right.
James.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and mute you. That was powerful, I think, for all of us, that message.
Yeah,
I,
we
I
all can
felt,
learn from each other, of course. That's what it's about.
especially the Vedic astrology. That was very cool. Okay, Christy, I've unmuted you. What's your question or comment for James?
Well, first of all, thank you for doing all this. I'm blown away and amazed, and I followed you for years, so I've been
Thanks,
blown
Chris.
away and amazed for years.
Thank you, Christy. It's very kind of you. Where do you live, Christy?
Currently, we're in Morgan, Utah, and
Okay, I was going to say Oregon. Okay, Utah.
yeah, Utah, up close that direction.
Okay.
But I was listening to a lot, and I've gone back through a lot of the stuff that you have been teaching on this last class, and a lot of it just kind of woke me back up. So I have seen, I have heard, I have been able to feel my whole life. And at some point I shut it all down because it freaked me out. And I remember the day I went to the dark mouth of the cave and I boarded it up and I put nails and I made sure I sealed that sucker so that I couldn't see anymore.
Why,
And then,
sweetheart? Why,
and then,
darling? Why did you do that?
well, because I could see everything and I could
Yeah,
see things that other people didn't know were there. And I would tell
yeah.
them, I could see their, their spirits. I could see, and I would tell them, do you know who's standing next to you? And then I would describe it. And then they would be like, oh, and then they wouldn't talk to me anymore.
Okay.
I mean, this was years ago, right? So,
Right.
but having realized what I did, I've unboarded it and I've tried to start opening it back up. And then it was easy as just open your eyelid or pull the curtains apart. And I was like, oh, there you go. That was fast and easy.
Well,
But my
you know what, Christy? Maybe you had to go through that because, by doing that, and then you opened up again, you realize like maybe something different about, well, I don't need to be scared about this. This is just natural. And it's me learning how to modulate this energy, that it's
for
really a
sure.
normal thing, but again, remember, it's part of the human getting involved too.
Well, and I was born in religion,
I was going to
so
say, thank you. You are psychic. I was going to say, do you have a religious background? Because
huge. I
that's where it
mean,
comes from, right? That's where it comes from. God and devil and demons and all that. I
the
had a man in my house.
fear.
You fear. It's love or fear. And religions, there are wonderful pieces of religions. We all know there are jewels in religions, but also when you start controlling the masses, it's gone. It becomes
Yeah.
the human part. It's like, no, that's not good. So you just take bits and pieces from all the different lovely world religions. I have a book about the world religions, and I just highlight all the best jewels, But
Yeah.
anything that's controlling or negative or evil minded, I get rid of. I throw that because that's garbage. That's garbage. That's the lower self. That's not the higher self.
And
The
that's
higher self.
totally what I think I've done is I've negated a bunch of that. I've gotten it out of my life. And so I teach heart coherence now. I teach people how to get in touch with their own spirit. I can walk them straight into the center of the heart and find the secret space of the Most High and
Oh, God bless you. That's great.
right,
I
pull
can use
that
that word God.
forward.
It's universal. I can use the word God. It's universal. Right? It's not religious. Okay. Yeah. God bless you. That's great, sweetheart. You're doing that.
it's
And you
fun. But
wouldn't have done that,
my
Christy. You wouldn't have gotten to that point of doing that if you hadn't closed down before, probably.
thank you for that.
Right? Right?
Never even thought about that. Probably
Yeah. There's always
true.
a reason behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. So my question to you is actually like using all the tools and all the things that are opening. I mean, it's just totally opened things back up. I have realized I was born in a family or with a family. I born into this iteration. It has done nothing but be mean to each other. We have caused pain after pain after pain. And my search has been to try and figure out the underneath of that. How far do I need to go back to, to figure out where that all came from? And in looking for this, I have understood that, maybe the pain from each one of us is helping us separately figure our own spirits out and our own path out. And recently, literally saw, and I realized that the spirit each one of them I am, we're all that same, right?
Yes.
So I'm looking at him going, I don't, and I literally had to put my hands up. So my brother recently took my father over, us and our dads, us girls and our dads, took my father over and has decided to sell his house and stick him in a home after he literally just last week had a stroke. So this whole thing has been playing out.
How many siblings do you have, Christy?
I have 2 living and 1 that's passed.
Okay.
Yeah, and my mother's passed. She passed during COVID, and they did the same thing to her. The same brother and another group of people took her over and stuck her in a home and let her pass. And it's
So-
just weird to me. I'm like, I don't like, how do I get?
Well, let me ask you this: what did you learn from those 2 siblings? They're older siblings or younger than yours? Than you?
The 2 that are surviving are older. The one
Right.
that
Okay.
passed was younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the 2 older ones, what do you think the lesson is that you're learning from them? Or lessons?
They're
And
just,
come from your heart, not your head.
and the first thing I was going to say is they're just clueless. Both of them consider themselves atheists. Both of them consider themselves like they just have they're just so blind. They're so
So they're limited. They're limited. They're
limited. Okay.
We,
I'll accept
we
that
come
word.
down this earth and we pick our soul groups, right? So we pick our soul groups, and you pick these 2, they picked you. And you have to understand, maybe I might be completely off, but just go with it if you don't mind. That we pick some souls in our groups that are limited, are sleepwalkers that have no clue. We come on this earth and there are baby souls who are the sleepwalkers who are not awake at all. Then you have the postgraduate souls like yourself and most of the people here who are light workers and believe in love and compassion. And then there's the middle grade souls that are all about, they're not sure yet which way to go. But listen, you sounds like you have these 2 that are sleepwalkers that are limited. They only know so much. I have one in my family, and I stopped talking to him because I will not put myself through that abuse. No
Well,
reason.
so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was going to
Okay.
say, so I have stopped talking to them, and they stopped talking to me. It was kind of a both. None of us could take it anymore. But now that he has my father under his
Oh.
whatever, and I'm like, what is my degree of I have to go save him? What is my degree of, or do I just let his spirit take his path? Man, is that part of his course that he needs to be with that brother for?
Well, let me ask you this: does he have guardianship of your father?
Yeah, he took everything.
So that's the hard part. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
So
in this physical. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's kind of stuck there. But number one, he's getting good care, right? So he's being looked after.
He is being looked after.
That's the bigger picture. The bigger picture is he's being looked after, probably more than he would if you were watching him or some other daycare person was watching him. He's probably at a space that he's getting a lot of care and looked after, which is good. My suggestion is go visit him often.
I live in Utah and he's in Colorado, but I do drive there and I do that.
Yeah, I would could do it maybe once a month if you could to see him, or maybe you can talk to him on the phone. Yeah, can he speak?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
So that itself is fantastic because your energies are with him on the phone.
How do I clear the pattern? How do I don't know if you can even clear the pattern. So my daughter, the same thing. She bugged out 6 years ago with a husband that's crazy. And I'm just like, I mean, our whole family, I mean, this goes through generations of this family.
Yeah, it's a generational type of thing. And I'm going to give you the name of a lady who could help you because this is her thing. Write this name down if you don't mind. Her name is Carrie, Karie, and her last name is Gonia, Gonia, and she is phenomenal. She's on my Monday night show, Both Sides Now and Beyond on Facebook, and her name is Carrie Gonia, and she's a family constellation therapist. So she tells you what that soul group or the families, what they're coming back, what generation, how many generations back, what exactly who plays what part, and that's what you want. She's, yeah. So, great. So look her up, Carrie. I don't have her phone information, but family constellation therapy, perfect for you, sweetheart.
All right, that's amazing.
Thank you so much, Christy.
Thanks, Christy.
All right.
Good luck, sweetheart.
Thank you for being here.
Bye.
All right, family patterns. Yes, we all need to heal those. So now we are going to move on to Antoinette. Welcome. Yay, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
Great. Thank you. I'm so excited about this, everything. And I have 2 quick things. I just want to know if you can do a quick energy reading on me. But my other question is basically, I get downloads. I call them downloads sometimes when I'm quiet. And it's just about random stuff. And I don't know why I get it. And I can't tell the people, obviously. You know,
Okay.
I'm getting this info of you because it'll freak them out.
Okay.
And I want to know if there's a way I can focus more on relevant things
Okay. How often do you sit in the quiet?
every day.
Every day. And you sit in the stillness of your being every day, quiet every day.
Yes,
And
it's normally, this happens when
I
I'm in the
think you're
bath,
fibbing.
actually.
I think you're fibbing to me because I can see by your energy you don't. Because
No, when I bath,
you seem very
when I
scattered. Your
bath,
energy is very scattered. All over
I know,
here.
because I'm so excited. When I'm in the bath, this is normally when I get it.
When you're in the box,
The bath, when I'm bathing, when I'm in the bath,
I don't know what that
when I'm
means.
when I'm in the bathroom, when
Oh,
I'm
the
in the bath.
bathroom. I'm sorry. You must be
Yes,
from
the
Yeah,
Australia.
bath.
BATH, right.
Are you from
So when I'm in the
Australia?
bath,
Are you from Australia?
no, I'm from South Africa.
South Africa, right? South Africa.
So I've only recently started meditation again. I used to do it every day, and then I stopped. And
I can see it because your aura is torn.
yeah, so I feel a bit scattered.
Yeah, a bit scattered. You have little holes in your aura, little holes. So it's a weak. Your aura is a little bit weak. Because you're giving negative thoughts to things. You're feeding the thoughts of negativity, and negativity is imbalance, and negativity opens up things, and you don't want that. And the first thing it has to come down to is you need to trust yourself more, because I don't feel you trust yourself. And you really have to start trusting yourself more. And that means having a relationship with yourself and letting yourself love yourself for just who you are, not for who you want to be, what other people expect of you, just who you are, and finding your passion of your own soul and living that passion instead of trying to please other people and do
Yeah.
what they want you to do. You know, you caught up in that hamster wheel, around and around. You're never going to satisfy other people. Never, ever. Even if you do what they want you to, still won't be satisfying. So the only thing you can do is really have a sense of self-love and self-confidence. And that's what you have to work at. You have to work at that. Because when you start having that self-confidence, that energy of strong connection of self, loving yourself, that energy really just emanates and expands all around you in that auric field and fields. And soon it will be all around like an envelope of solid energy of gold and white lights and purples and blues. And right now I see like Swiss cheese with you. That's what I mean. So there's not enough of this energy from your heart around you. It's all worry energy. It's also a bit of other people's energy too. I worry what other people think of me. Oh my God. And that's that weakens the auric field, not strengthens it, you see. It weakens it. And you want to be in strength. So I would definitely advise more sitting in my spiritual meditation course is perfect for you to do on a daily basis. You have to discipline yourself to get back to yourself. And it's like going to school. It's like you're taking the courses here. It's good, but you've got to be disciplined and take care of yourself.
I have started doing it. I actually did a fire ceremony last week where I burned my identity and my name. So that's only been last week. So I'm only starting.
Good. Well, good. At least you made a start, right? So you're starting. That's perfect. So it's each step at a time, right? Each step at a time. So, yeah, but you're not a lost hope. You're not a lost hope, Antoinette. Don't worry. You're just beginning, and you'll get better and better the more you start loving yourself more and more, get self-confidence and knowing that you can do anything you want. And what other people think of you is none of your business. Right?
So thank you.
You're very welcome, my love. Okay.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Thank you so much, Antoinette. Yes. What other people think of you is none of your business. Loving yourself. Wonderful. So let's go into, James, there's a couple people were asking about your volume. So maybe it's your microphone. Sometimes they'd like to hear you.
Okay.
So if you have it,
Is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
Is that
That's
better?
perfect.
I hope that's
okay.
better.
I think
Okay.
no, that sounds great.
Is that
okay,
good?
Wonderful.
Okay. Sorry,
okay.
everyone.
Julie.
I'm not a
that's
very
just a
technical
couple people.
person. I just talk to dead people. Okay.
Love it. All right.
I'll
All right,
sit
Julie,
closer.
you're on.
I remember Julie. How are you, Julie? I remember you from last week.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You know, I just met you in San Diego at the Fox 5 station. Do you remember this book?
Oh, that's where I met you from. Yes, yes, yes. We put it up on my Facebook page.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I have to look
You came with your publisher. Remember, you were there with your publicist, I guess I should say. Yeah, publicist.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah,
Yes,
you know
I remember.
what's amazing? That's the first time I ever met you, and I had never even heard of you before. I am sorry to say
I
it,
can't
but
talk to you
there's a
anymore,
lot of
Julie.
people out there, and now I know why, because you gave me that inspiration to do a book on manners, and I got totally inspired, and I wrote down notes, and that'll be
Oh, great. You going to do it? Are you going to do it?
Yes, I'm
Good.
definitely going to do it.
Good.
Just right now, I'm focusing on promoting this book, but this is
Good.
so awesome. So
good, Julie. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, so wonderful to see you, and it's wonderful to take your course, because I'll be honest, I think I'm more clairsentient and clairaudient. I get words and,
Yep.
and I hear stuff from people.
Yes.
The clairvoyance is something that sometimes when I'm talking with people, I'll see images, but not very much. So this course is really good for helping me to develop that and some of the other
Right.
stuff.
And Julie, something that if you were like clairaudience is your gift, is your primary gift, then as you develop that, then the others will also be developed to a certain amount as well. So realize that. But first, when the trust comes with a clairaudience and you really can trust it, then you'll begin other abilities will start to show themselves to you.
Okay.
You know, and you're a writer. So, I mean, you're an illustrator, you're a writer. So that's called inspiration. So you're clairsentient, which means spirit's coming through you to write those books. You don't write them yourself. You're just like myself. You're a vessel. We're all vessels of that creative energy.
Okay.
Of that God energy.
Yes. So I guess my questions kind of two part.
Okay.
Is there anything that you're sensing with my aura? And then secondly, my big question right now that I'm wrestling with is trying to use my guidance, but how do I best decide where is my best focus right now?
Oh, that's easy. Come on, Julie. That's easy. You know this. So if anyone out there wants to know what your best focus, what you should be doing, what is your number one passion?
Getting my message out, but that's the point is how.
What is your message?
Getting meditation as a time within to,
okay.
To clear that word out, to get a new term, right? New terminology to
okay.
get that into schools, to have children doing this every day, to have a daily morning mindfulness.
Right. So there are some books out there. I watched the other day, and I know Goldie Hawn came out with a book on mindfulness a while back, and she got that in a program in schools. But I think you could write a meditation book for children. Why don't you do that? Hello, that's what you want. So there's your passion.
I feel like that's what my book is. It's just it's a different way. It's a different way. It's not called a meditation book, but it is. That's what
okay.
It is for kids to be aware of their thoughts and then choosing different thoughts, right? Which would
okay.
you negative or the positive thinking.
Okay, but why don't you get a more disciplined way now for children? Because children are really smart. We really should never talk down to them because they're much brighter than we are, right? So they would like to be told what to do the right way. So we say, you can have a happy time. I mean, you know how to do this better than I do. You're an author, a children's author. But the happy time, maybe you call it the happy time instead of meditation. It's your own happy time to find yourself. And maybe you create imagine there's a mirror in front of you. And this magic time, you're able to see yourself in that mirror, the reflection of who you really are. Not who you think you are, but who you really are. Something like that in a kid's language would be perfect. I think you need to do that. Now, why do I say that? I think that'll hone you in too. And it'll give you practice to do meditation along with telling the children how to. You're going to do it yourself because there's no way you can write it without doing it. So that'll force you to do two things, write the book for kids about meditation, and you yourself will be really kind of going into that space. If you give yourself, one thing I want to say to you, Julie, we talk about reading your space. Well, the thing I see with you is you need to put time aside. So you need to have a calendar, and from 1 o'clock to 2 every day, I'm going to sit and meditate. You need to be more disciplined. That's what I see. Because you're a little scattered, my love.
Yeah, that's the thing. Thank you.
Right. So if you have that on a calendar, you have to at a certain time, everything else falls into place. So for instance, I'm going on a trip to Europe tomorrow for a tour. There are so many things I have to do. So how do I do that without freaking out? Well, I make lists. I have a list and I check it off as soon as I do it, get the passport, get, European money, whatever it might be. I make sure that I check off I have a list, and that in my head gets me organized, because I would freak out otherwise. It'd be too much overwhelming. And for all of us, we have to do that, because right now we're living in a fast vibrational moving world, so quick. It's like, hold on. But I've found that the list thing is really, and people talk about it years ago, but especially now when times are crazy, the list is really important. It'll help us. It'll guide us.
Yes.
And something else besides the list thing, which I think is really important, it's a Buddhist practice, which is make your bed every day. Wake up and make your bed every day. In other words, do something in a positive way every day. And that tells you, I'm beginning a new day. And it becomes a ritual type of thing. I'm beginning a new day. My new day has started. Now I do it with my doggie Pearl, who's underneath my desk here sleeping. I know that she gets up at 7:15 every morning. And if she's not up, I wake her up and say, let's get a start with a good new day. And we do kisses, and then we go out and she does her business, come back, feed, and then we have a routine. They love routines. And we humans, especially when we're in crazy times, need to have routines. And especially when you want to have a inspirational, creative work being done, which you do, because you're so creative. You just scratch the surface. You're so creative, that you have to be more of a routine, I think.
Okay.
You might be going to New York later on in life. You might have something to do with New York. You might have something to do with New York publishers later on. You might even get to a point of mysteries or biographies or detective mysteries, something like that. I don't know why I see that with you, but later, not now, you could have some good things going on later with New York, with something to do with mysteries, and profiles and psychological profiles and things like that I think really will. I think you'd be really good at that. I think you're really good at mystery type of thing, discovering, unleashing things, covering things up. I don't know if it's true crime or what it is, but there's an interest there.
Yeah.
There is, isn't there?
Yeah.
The psychological interest or something.
Psychologically discovering why people do things, figuring out things, but not
Exactly.
really
And so it'll be like that. It'll be storytelling, but it'll be kind of like that. And what's the lessons of the human lessons at the end of the story? You'll that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a spiritual book, but it's going to be set up like a mystery or a detective type of thing. That's what I see for you right now. Of course, we can change things ourselves, but that's what I see. Not right now, but later on, maybe 10 years. But I think a New York is really strong here. New York.
I just got back from New York.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
It's only my second time ever there. On Friday with my daughter, her first time,
good.
and I was doing a book reading, my final with the publicist.
Oh, good.
So
Well, this is a whole new kettle of fish.
Will come out in a couple months.
Yeah, but you'll do very well with that. It's going to be later on, and you'll do well with it. And remember, I told you they're going to be. Remember, I told you there's something to do with Second Avenue or the UN. You're going to be over in that area. I just saw the UN very clearly, and I know it wasn't symbolic. I know that you have physically going to be there. So whether it's a taxi cab or a car driving by, you'll remember it, and then you'll say to me, "Remember you told me?" And I'm saying, "No, I don't remember." But you remember that, okay? But I love it. I love that feeling for you. But keep on keeping on, and make sure you're more disciplined with the timing. And that's it.
And
All right, Julie. Good to see you again, darling. Okay.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Julie.
God bless you.
All right.
So-
that was incredible. All right.
James?
Yes, sir.
This is Garth,
Yes.
the tech guy.
Yes, sir. How's the
You
sound?
are actually a little too loud now.
Oh, good.
You could
Can I
give
see
me
that?
a compromise. Yeah, about like
How's that?
would
Is that all
probably be
right?
Fine.
Okay, you got it.
One
How's
other
that?
thing you might want to be aware of is there's 7 people that are hands raised still. So
Oh, let's get to Sean Elaine.
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, Garth. Sean
Yes.
Elaine, would you unmute yourself, please? Hi, Sean.
Yes. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. I'm so glad I get to have this time with you.
Yay! And where do you
So-
live, Sean? Where are you from?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been here 15
You're in Phoenix.
years.
Okay. I thought the background you might be in Phoenix or Colorado. I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, somewhere earthy and grungy, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Chicago.
Or Western or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So my biggest question to you, in terms of clairvoyance or how things come to us, I've always been fascinated with orbs in my photos, orbs in my videos. They're constant. It's so strong and it's so cool. And then sometimes I think I'm trying to explain the snuffleupagus to other people when I'm seeing them or trying to point them out and like, oh, that's not just fuzz in the camera, right? I mean, it's real. So I just wanted to ask, I mean, obviously I know that you can see auras and I wish I could, but I don't. But that's just a strong, strong presence for
Okay.
me.
And how often have you been able to do that? You've taken photos and auras show up, yeah?
It's constant.
Okay.
Or
So you
not
know
there.
what that tells me? You might freak out a little bit, but that's okay.
Okay.
You're a mediumistic. So
Nice.
when someone is able to portray auras in a photo, it is because they themselves, as people, use the energy of the photographer to manifest.
Ah,
But many
okay.
people think it's just from their side. No, they have to use the energy from the person. You have to have that kind of energy within your being that they can draw from in order to manifest an orb.
Wow.
I went to the Abraham Lincoln with the Ford Theater once with my friend Jordy. She's very mediumistic. I'm very mediumistic. And we sat on the stage, and the weirdest thing was nobody was there in the theater. It was so bizarre. Just us. And I guess the people in the back in the lobby. And Jordy goes, go on the stage and I'm going to take a picture of you. And I thought, okay, friends, come close, come close.
I'm close.
Just like you,
Yeah.
tons of
Oh, I just got goosebumps. Yes.
yeah, tons of orbs. And so you're very mediumistic, and you're very much, you have all the gifts. You're a healer as well. You're a wonderful healer. The
Wow.
animals love you. You are so
Oh.
loved by the animal kingdom. It's just incredible. They
Oh my
hold you
God.
up. They hold you up at a pedestal, the animal kingdom. They really do. And the horses, and you're so good to, goodness comes out of you.
Oh my God, you're making me cry.
Yeah, it's true though, and I think you need to be told that because it's really, really true. You're a good soul. You're a good heart, and I think that you're someone who needs. I'm going to cry too now. Thank you
Oh
very
my God.
much. Thank you very much, Sean. So you're someone also that's very sensitive. That it's hard for you to be around a lot of hard people, right? Coarse
Yeah.
people can't do it. Can't do it. Same with me. I'm in a forest. I can't be around coarse people. And
Yeah.
I want to just say to you, and your dad has passed over.
No, he's still with me, but
Who's the
very
man
good.
that passed over that was close to you?
Man that's passed over.
Yep. Is your father's brother passed over? Is there an uncle over there or some of your father's side? Or would you have known your grandfather?
I mean, not recently.
No,
Not
no, no.
recently.
Wow, 20 years ago, 30
Oh
years.
God, my grandfather. Oh God,
Okay.
yes.
And
He
did you
comes to
know
me
him
all
as
the
a
time.
child? You knew him as a child?
Oh yes.
Okay, because
Yes.
that's who it is. I asked who it was, the father's side, the father of the father.
It's my dad's dad. Yeah.
Yeah, father
My
the
dad's
father,
dad.
and he's looking after you very much so. Now, would you have just have bought a cowboy hat, or do you have a cowboy hat? And
Oh yes, yes, yes.
he's just telling me that whether you just bought one or he was with you when you bought one, he's been there, and he said you're very special, and you're a very sensitive being, and
Wow.
you can't force yourself to anyone else to not believe it or to believe it. They're going to believe what they're going to believe. You've been recently talking, he's telling me, to other people who try to make them believers, but they won't have any of it, you see.
Yeah.
You
You're right.
understand?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, yeah. So don't let their negativity affect you. And this is for everyone in the room. Don't let other people's belief systems get in your way. We
Right.
can never force others to believe the way we want to believe. We can just spread the seeds out and then watch it grow. But you're sending out the seeds, and that's the most important for right now.
Yeah.
This man loves you. There's so many people that love you. Is your mama still living on the earth, your
Yes.
mother?
Yes.
And she being
Yes.
taken care of very nicely
Yes.
with your dad? Because there's a lovely couple. Do they have cocktails in the afternoon?
Oh no, no, they're not together. They're divorced a long time. But my mother is now. I put her on a cruise ship, if you will, about 3 months
Oh,
ago.
how
With
funny.
people talking about putting their parents in a home.
It's
My mom's
hysterical.
loving being in her assisted
Well,
living. I said, so how's
I
the
know
cruise
that
ship
there are
today?
people around her in cocktail hour, so you have to
Oh
tell her.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
There are
yeah.
people
Yeah.
like spirit people all around her during cocktail hour, and it's so such a funny image. But
That's great. It's a
you're
perfect
so
image.
kind. You're
And
very
it's only been
kind.
3 months. It's only been 3 months since she's been in this new environment. And
Wow.
so, yeah, you completely picked up on that. I just got goosebumps.
Yep, you're very kind, Sean. I think you have a very strong clairvoyance as well. I
Okay.
think if you sit in the quiet and really let yourself develop that more, I think you'll be able to start seeing things. And because you have such a big heart, and it comes from the heart space, not the head space, that
Yeah.
you can use your heart. In one of my exercises, doing in my workshops, I have the heart be like binoculars, and they're like looking, and you're seeing it from the heart's point of view, what you see from the heart's point of view. And remember that spirit comes in love. So they come from that heart space. And I think you have that ability. If you want to sit down and develop it a little bit more, that would be fantastic.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Wow.
You're very
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
for being here.
Sean.
Thank you for
Don't
sharing.
make me cry over
Okay.
here. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing yourself. Really appreciate that.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful
Okay.
reading in spirit. All right, let's see if we can get through these, the rest of these people in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Tiffany, welcome to the stage. What's
Hi.
your comment or question?
Well, I just kind of spontaneously hopped on here, and it's already been very, very wealthy and
Thank
uh,
you, Tiffany.
I really don't know, except what I'm experiencing right now is that I've been I've experienced a lot of very epic traumatic things throughout my entire life, and always just kind of bounce back as much as I could. And I've learned a lot of very already perfect sort of paths. And now I'm in a very creative time where I've been very disciplined for a while with meditation practices, Vedic practices, yogic practices, and I can feel like a completely new chapter opening, and where the obscuring, distracting force that's been sort of taken over my body my whole life, I'm coming much more into my body, and I can
I love that saying. You're coming more into your body. And when do you think you left your body?
uh I feel like I'm at peace with that. I came in sort of already like that.
Okay.
It,
Can I just interrupt you, sweetheart, for a second? From what I'm hearing from you and what I'm feeling and hearing from you, one thing, Tiffany, that every one of us comes back in a family, right? Family, a group soul of those beings who will teach us the most, right? They will teach us the most. And sometimes we choose really hard families. A lot of times, the biggest karma we usually have, or the biggest teachers in our life, are our family members, because they're teaching us some aspect of ourselves, good or bad, and it's wondering how we're going to do with that. We're going to forgive. There's going to be love. Is there going to be something that's not right for us? What's it going to be? And you probably chose a very difficult family to come in. You're probably a hard family, abusive family, something really difficult. Why do I say that? Because most light workers do. And number two, how do you know the good part if you haven't experienced the bad part? Right. So you have to experience that negative, or if you want to call it negative, judge it, say that dynamic, right, in order to learn various lessons about forgiveness, learning about your own empowerment, your own self. That I'm not going to be like that. I'm not going to be like that. That's not me. That's their thing, not mine. And we get to choose how much of that we're going to take with us and how much we're going to leave behind. Just like I said before, religion, we can take the positive jewels, the loving jewels, the great parts of that, and leave the rest behind, leave the control behind. But there's a good, take the gemstones with you. So from your family, and forgive me for jumping in here with this, I'm not mean to infiltrate here without your permission, but I almost feel like you've taken the best of that to learn who you are. And now that you're trusting yourself more, they can't hurt you no more, by the way. You know that. They can't hurt you anymore. And now you feel more comfortable. When there's situations of abuse, whatever kind it might be, even if it's alcoholism or whatever it might be, family members out there, many times we, as the child or the younger being, leave the body. We leave the body because we don't feel safe. And out of the body is so much safer. And then when we tend to get more environment or atmosphere about love, and we love ourselves, and our environment is peaceful and safe, we come back in. See, and that might be very similar to what happened to you. And now you can learn to trust yourself. You can learn to set boundaries. You can learn. You realize that, wow, I'm really actually a really good person. I represent myself with those people. They're family members, but none of them think like me or are like me. But I'm good who I am. And that, my friend, is a big step in the right direction of development, of soul awareness, of soul understanding. Does it make sense?
It does. I know this, and I'm already it showed me a spontaneous compassion, actually, in a lot of incidents throughout my life, not just with family. It was an immense immediate spontaneous compassion. So as a developmental force, I've seen it in that way. But to hear these words is to hear your words in the way that you've expressed them is very healing to a part of me that's still in that space. And that part of me that Now that I'm coming into an empowered time
Yeah.
and in a completely new chapter, I keep feeling like it's limitless and that I can really just trust that I can do what I'm being guided to do
And
step
be
by
yourself,
step,
be who you are.
right? Even though it seems entirely impossible, it seems like, well, now you will experience this. That was actually a vision I was given around 2 or 3 years old. Was first part of life like the second part of life, completely expansive.
Completely different. And a lot of souls, a lot of light workers, a lot of sensitives and empaths go through that. Same with me. I went through a very hard childhood, but now I look back and say, wow, that was a gift. That was really a gift because I wouldn't understand compassion. I wouldn't understand forgiveness. I wouldn't understand empathy if I hadn't gone through those horrible experiences. Horrible, whatever, those lessons, I'd say, those opportunities. I didn't go through that. And it taught me also that I can trust who I am, that I'm good who I am. I don't have to be what anyone wants me to be because they wouldn't know me. They don't know me as well as I know myself. And none of that stuff is going to stick to me. I had that experience and now it's time to move on. Today is a brand new day of experiencing myself. I don't have to carry that stuff and have that suffering soul syndrome going on. Don't need to be the victim anymore. It doesn't do anything. It gets boring after a while. So now I have a brand new day and live a whole new life and rediscover my truth and rediscover how great I am. And that's really what it is. It's turning up that voltage on your light bulb. And that's what you're just starting. And I'm very excited for your new life. Or if I could say, for your remembering who you are, should I say. Maybe that's the best way of putting it. Oh, you're
Well,
muted,
thank you
sweetheart.
so much.
Okay.
I know. I just thought I felt that we were complete. Is that okay,
Okay.
Tiffany?
Yeah.
And so we could move on. Are you okay with that, James?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. So thank you. Thank you, Tiffany. So we just have a few minutes here. Let's see if we can get to a few more people. Susie, now a lot of people have raised their hand.
And Chris,
This is
before we
amazing.
start, can I just mention
Yes.
to everybody who might be interested in this? I'm doing a free meditation, a free course just like this. Is online at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and it's called Modern Mediumship. And if anyone's interested in that, it's free and it's on my Facebook page. So James Van Praagh. I'm wearing a blue sweater. And I'm looking off to the side. That's so you know it's a real page, not a scammer. So that's at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. It's free, so just click the button. Okay. So I think
Oh,
a
thank
lot
you
of
for
people be
mentioning
interested.
that.
Yeah, a lot of people be
That's
interested.
amazing. Yeah, and that's Pacific time,
Pacific
right?
time,
San
4 o'clock
Diego
Pacific time on my
4
Facebook
p.m.
page.
Okay, thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. And I
All
need
right,
friends,
Susie, go
everyone.
ahead.
I need friends. Help, please be my friend. Okay. Okay. Hi, Susie.
Hi,
How are you, darling?
Uh, I'm better now that I'm
Good.
with you guys. I've just been experiencing so much disappointment lately and
Yeah.
frustration. I keep thinking I know what to do next, and it turns out to be a spiritual lesson rather than any forward progress in my business. And
You know what, Susie? It's called transformation.
I'm
And
so
guess what? I just recently experienced it. The rug was pulled out from underneath me. My whole staff left. I had nothing in the bank. Everything was gone. And I was like, what is going on here? So it's transformation. It's not easy in the human condition, but I heard from the spirit people and they said, James, it's a change in the conditions. It's a change in the conditions. So it's not what you're doing, it's what's going to be changing and happening. So things cannot remain the same. They have to move. Life is all about movement, movement, movement. So give me examples of things that have gone different for you.
Well, most recently, I was working with someone who was an adoptive mother
Okay.
who is helping me market my Heartful Journaling online course, which
Okay.
I originally created for people with PTSD
Yeah.
as help for that weekly journaling.
Okay.
But then I thought I would focus on adoptees since I am one, and there's just so much trauma around being adopted. I wanted to shift beliefs so
Okay.
that you don't have to be miserable if you're adopted. You can choose a different way of being.
Right.
And,
It's true.
and then so it turns out that I mean, she was like the world's best bullshitter about what she was capable of. And so we no longer have a relationship. But the thing is I noticed that about her. But
let me interrupt you 1 second. So the book that you're writing, or the journal, because I think it's going to be a book, is it on the person that's been adopted, or the adoptees, or the parents? What is it for? Which one
adoptees.
is it? Adoptees. Okay, I like that a lot. Okay.
Yeah, the focus is for adoptees.
Okay.
People who would like to do art journaling. It's an 8-week course.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, meditation and
right. I love that. Healing.
Art lessons. It's
healing and healing and healing.
Say that again.
healing.
Yeah, I know.
It's a healing course. It's a healing course when you think about it.
It is a healing. It is definitely a healing course, and that's who I am.
Exactly.
That's how I feel.
So what's the problem you're having, honey?
The problem I'm having is getting my message right so that I get more sales.
Okay. Is it all finished right now?
It's all finished. Yeah.
Okay. And you do it to this one person, you said, this lady you're working with?
I had her help me, but she didn't do what I asked, and she did a bunch of stuff I didn't want.
Okay, so that's over. That's
over.
Someone new.
I know she's gone. I'm on my own again.
Well, not necessarily. Have you thought about reaching out to other organizations about adoption, about adoptees? Because there's tons of them who would be really helpful. Love to do this kind of project with you, that they need it. So I would run immediately to different organizations that would love to do this work with you. I think that's a great opening right there. Everything happens for a reason. When one door opens, if a door closes, the other door opens, or you go around the back and climb through the window, for God's sake. I mean, it's going to happen. It's just getting the right people now and the right fit for it to happen.
Yeah.
So everything happens for reasons. So, I don't know. I just think your book would do very well. I'm going to say book because I think it's a book. And it might be a program with a book, by the way. It might be two different things, you see.
I actually started a book.
The psychic is telling you, yes, but I love it. And it could be expansive, but I think you do really much better if you have someone that assists you who has a part of an organization for adoptions, for adoptees. There are tons of them. And I really do get a feeling that you'll know the right person or persons to help you. It might be a couple. I don't know why I feel like a couple, but it might be a couple. And I think you maybe if you have to do a presentation page or you just find them on the internet, you'll find the right people. So look at it as an opportunity, because that other woman would have held you back.
Definitely. And she was. I kept waiting and waiting for things that she didn't deliver.
She wasn't able to, honey. She was limited in that respect. She wasn't able to. There's part of her that wasn't able to do it for whatever reason. Who knows why? But it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
You meant to reach more people. You wouldn't reach them with her. So the universe is setting you up with more people, someone different, to get the word out to more people. And that's, I think, what you wanted, isn't it?
It is. I actually belong to a couple of adoptee groups.
Okay, good.
But, we don't do self-promotion there. But I have offered, a free lesson and a huge discount on the course to adoptees.
Right. So I think it's an organization you haven't found yet.
Okay.
How exciting.
Well, this was exciting. I feel much better. I have one more question. I know
okay.
No,
but I'm
you know what? We ran out of time.
Susan, we ran out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time. I'm sorry.
This afternoon. Come this afternoon. I'll answer your question.
There you go. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Susie. Yeah, we just go to 11, but I'm glad you got to have some insight. So thank you for joining today. Well, I just appreciate everybody for being here. There's so much energy and I just love all these questions. Oh my gosh. So come to James' class today
Christy
at 4
Medlin just
on
put
his
it on the
Facebook
link on the comments page. There's myvanprod.com. So there it is. Okay. There it is.
Okay,
4
perfect.
o'clock
Check
today.
in the comments.
Free course.
Yeah.
Free hour with me. Hour and a half. Who knows how long.
Yay.
Thanks, Krista. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you
Nice
all
working
for
with
being
you.
here.
God
Yes,
bless.
yes.
Bye.
Have a blessed day.